Absolutely. So the 1 minute gun is not always 1 minute before racing, but I think it was just about this time because the start gun has just gone and they are setting off. Looks like Corpus have just swung out a little bit on the bung line, and Univ probably had the slightly better line, steering beautifully straight there. But there's not really been any quick gains in this division off the start. So it looks like all the crews are actually got a good clean start. It potentially looks like Christchurch 4 are starting to make a move on St Anthony's 2, just starting to close that gap up. And it does look like Lincoln 3 have caught a crab and therefore are struggling a little bit to get themselves back up to race pace, which does mean that Peters should be gaining on them pretty rapidly, and I think that is a concession from the cooks of the Lincoln 3 crew, and he's desperately trying to get his crew back up and racing. As we
Yeah. Say, meanwhile, at the top of the division, it looks like the University Banana Boat is actually gaining on Corpus through the gut, and I think we see Mansfield gaining quite significantly at the foot of this division on Lineker. So Mansfield could avoid ending this competition foot of the river and hand that dishonour over to Lineker. It's looking pretty tight at the top, actually, with this view, with the top 5 crews being Corpus Christi 2, University 3, Christchurch 3, who are on for Blades, St Anthony's 2, and Christchurch 4, and that looks like Christchurch 4 are very close now to St Anthony's. Could this be Blades? Oh, there we go. There's a concession from St Anthony's. So that is Blades, 5 bump Blades for Christchurch 4.
So Christchurch have to be a little bit careful to not get in the way of their other crew now, who they'll want that first Christchurch crew will want to clear the line so that their next crew down can continue to race and catch the Corpus crew that their third crew has just gone for.
It looks like New College have bumped Lincoln 3, so actually Lineker have an out here. If Lineker can bump, oh, there we go. I think that's a concession from Corpus. So, oh, no, sorry, that's a concession from
New College, I believe.
Actually, no, Univ. I think Christchurch have bumped Univ. So that actually probably squanders Univ's chance of Blades, because they got bumped by Christchurch before they could go on to bump Corpus Christi. Lineker 3 at the bottom of this division, it looks like Lineker are running away to the other side of the river. They're going to want to try and catch a very slow Lincoln 3 before Mansfield 2 catch them up. But actually, it looks like Mansfield 2 have stopped rowing, so I think that Mansfield have bumped Lineker. I thought we were maybe on for a semi-over bump there, but I was wrong.
No, I think I did see one of the Mansfield rowers sort of waving his hands in celebration. So this is St Anthony's now just coming down the green banks in a reasonably solid rhythm. I think they've got quite a distance in front of them and behind them, though. They're sort of rowing in their own little part of the division now as lots of crews around them have bumped out.
Yes, so I think all eyes will be at the bottom of this division to answer the infamous question of who will end the week foot of the river for the men's divisions. Will it be the Hawaiian Beerboat Lincoln 3, or will it be Lineker 3? So I think actually if we stay with camera 3 at Longbridges, because it looks like there's a big gap between Corpus Christi 2 and the Unit 3 Banana Boat, who've gone way back. That's a very close line from Lineker. That's either Cox to perfection, or they may have brushed the tree very slightly there. I think they've just about done that okay, but they are quite wide out into the river. They're going to want to tuck into Greenbanks and see if they can try and reel in Lincoln 3 as they go up the Greenbanks.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Lineker Cox, that's the crew with the yellow blades with the black cross, is really going to be driving their crew on and just telling them, look, you know, Lincoln is up ahead. They are 2 lengths ahead. If we keep solid in this rhythm and we keep pushing hard and keep using our legs like we've trained in training, then we will be walking on that crew eventually.
And actually, I'm quite surprised at the top here. So we've got St Anthony's 2, who are actually making somewhat of an impression on University 3. It's now down to about maybe a length and a half between Anthony's and Unif 3. I mean, it looks like Unif 3 went off well, but then have really fallen back. So there is a possible chance here that St Anthony's can bump Unif 3. Oh, there we go. The banana's taken his hat off. I think he's kind of, you know, peeled the top of the banana off because he's probably just that warm.
or he's going for the aero advantage there and has decided that they need all the slipstream they can get.
Yeah, and any good cocks in men's Division 7 will be closely calculating the aerodynamic drag of these boats, because every millisecond matters in men's Division 7.
Absolutely, but it looks like St Anthony's have put a real push in and have really closed down on that UNIV crew, and they've got them down to perhaps quarter of a length of canvas. And I imagine that the St Anthony's Cox is calling for a big push now as they get down towards the finish line. They've probably got about 200 meters left. Will they go and get that bump? Will they manage to just break that UNIV 3 rhythm and get the overlap and eventually get that concession? They probably have about 15 strokes left, if that. So if they're going to go, they do really have to go now. It does look like UNIV are running away. Will UNIV hold it?
It's quite hard to tell. I think we're probably about 20 strokes away. Will St Anthony split the banana boat?
Cool. So I've got a crew. I believe that is that would be Corpus Christi, who've rode over at the top of the division, celebrating. And just as we come into the finish line, I think it's very tight between St Anthony's and UNIV. Now, do remember, it is the stern of the boat that needs to cross the finish line for UNIV to get away safely. So I think they possibly have just about done that. We will see if St Anthony's managed to make either any contact on the blades or on the stern of that boat to see if they got bumped, and I'm sure they will be keen to see if anybody on the bank did see that contact.
Yeah, what it looks like to me was that St Anthony's made a very wise decision there to realise that they had just a few strokes left. They went for an optimistic swipe over the finish line, and it looked like it got close, but actually they didn't swipe UNIV with the bow of the Anthony's boat on the stern of UNIV, and UNIV, I was going to say live on to their own of the day, but actually this is the end of the race for them because they didn't bump up to be sandwich boat, and their chance of blades has been well and truly squashed like a banana peel.
Yeah, and we can just see the last two racing crews coming up. So Lineker 3 have done really well actually to catch up to this Lincoln 3 crew. They've really made up that distance. But I think unfortunately for Lineker, the river is just not quite long enough for them today, and they've not quite managed to make it up by the time that Lincoln will cross that finish line.